designers for all of us.
Oh boy!
It was because they did not associate with us. They
The Wandering Dutchman podcast.
This is In-Depth with the Dutchmen, the only interview show where it's the conversation that matters most. I am Casey Lindemann, joined here in the lounge by my couch partner, Big Mace. Over there on the other seat is our friend Smoke, who's promised to ask more than 2 questions this interview. And our special guest today on In-Depth is of blondebrush fame, great cooler designer, Liz Wertman. Our first lady interview.
That's right.
Here into Smoker's Lounge. She's come out guns a-blazing.
Literally.
The behind the scenes would be wonderful because there'd probably be some fear spread amongst the community. It's maybe not blonde brush, but maybe like nunchucks or like blonde nunchuck brush or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
so
Lord.
Yeah.
We're here with Liz. Liz, thanks for joining us here in Smoker's Lounge.
Thanks for having me, guys. This
Welcome
is
to the
fun.
lounge.
Yeah.
Such a spacious and beautiful abode.
Is it everything you thought it would be?
Oh, dreamed about it. Yes.
Nice. Good to know.
When you walked in here, was there somewhere where you started planning your next art project? Like, oh, those garage doors could be great, like for Smoker's Lounge.
Oh, I do that all the time. Anywhere I walk into a space, I'm like, oh yeah. Especially every time I watch the podcast, I'm like, we could fit something right there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
maybe not there.
Here's
like,
one.
maybe right
There's
over
too
here.
much negative space.
Oh my gosh!
There it is.
Yeah. How did you do in art in high school?
Oh, that was like my only A+.
A plus.
Oh yeah, A++. Exactly.
She probably helped a lot of dummies like you and I get through art.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Hole. Granted, Aaron Hole didn't really need much help. He was very artistic on his
There
own.
it is. Shots fired
Yeah.
right
Hey,
out of the
Hole's a
gate.
big listener.
Turns out A-Hole
I sat
sucks
next
at
to
art.
him. He was senior year. I sat next to him, and then Emily was in the same class as me, and she sat next to Drew Beaning, and we all at one point they're like, you got to switch drawings with your sister. You're drawing the same thing. Switch drawings. And we're like, well, maybe next time. Probably third time, and then finally asking, they're like, switch drawings. She'll never know. So Emily and I were like, just give me your drawings. And we switch. And so I'm just drawing and erasing the same thing 15 times over that Emily has done. And then finally, teacher obviously was like, hold on a second, and looks at me and looks at my drawing. She's just like, this isn't yours. I'm like, oh, it took you all class.
She's pretty sharp. I don't know if you remember earlier in the episode when I spoke about me having a somewhat controversial conversation with our art teacher back in high school. I think it involved
Lord.
a clown or what. Although this might have been before you were on staff here, but
it was.
we really got along, Mrs. Nameless.
Hold on. The only reason it's funny because me and this guy were in the same freaking art class,
yeah.
and it was
Poor
a shit
lady.
show.
Oh, it was
And I
terrible.
will say that if it
Like this.
wasn't for Angela Martin, shout out Angie Martin.
Yeah.
We sat by each other in art.
Mandy
and
Bauer too. We had some really talented people. in
which
our class.
really hurt us because
yeah. If we were grading on a curve, we were
we were in
screwed.
trouble. Yeah, Angie would look over it. She'd be like, "What are you like? What is that supposed to be?" And I'm like, "A tree? Like that's
whale?
what we're doing,
Man, I tell you what,
good old days.
I'm not an artsy fartsy kind of cat, but I love people who are, and that's
Well, thank
cool.
you. Good.
So we have been excited about this interview for a long time. We obviously the Cooler Project, which
Yeah.
was phenomenal. Congratulations to Jalea. Thank you to Lisa
Pinkstaff.
Lisa Pinkstaff. Powered by U Mortgage. She's not powered by U Mortgage. She's powering U Mortgage.
Yeah.
So you guys with that collab, we appreciate it. But it was only fitting to bring you in for an interview show.
Thanks.
Because very unique what you do, especially for
Yeah.
this area.
Yeah, agreed.
So blonde brush is your creation.
yes.
How did it start?
So COVID, actually. I mean, I've done murals and painting off and on all throughout all my multiple careers that I've done. And finally COVID, since I couldn't be a teacher's aide anymore. And then I just actually, luckily, Gaslight, John Songer's like, hey, I got stuff I want done. come in, let's get you paid, let's do this. And
Which that looks remarkable.
That's
by the way.
unbelievable.
That
so
is
that's
so
pretty much
cool.
where the first like really like big install of all of that there started, because I was just like, so we were just painting the walls white and cleaning everything up, and I'm like, I can't do white. Like,
Yeah.
it's not me. So I sat down during break and sketched out a sketch, and I went up to his son Andy, who was in my class, and I'm like, hey, what do you think your dad would like this? And he's like, oh no, you gotta change the evil villain to this. Like, okay. So made his quick revisions. Then and I showed him one more time, and he's like, okay, now go show him.
That's so
And
cool.
That's awesome.
We sold it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So it starts out of COVID, and as much as we try to forget COVID, it was
Oh,
only
yeah.
3 short years ago.
Yeah.
But Blonde Brush has exploded.
Yes, and thank goodness. I mean, I continue to try to do my best and keep pushing myself even more, because I am a team of one.
Yeah.
I do everything, answering the emails, taking care of quotes, invoices, and things like that. Granted, I have a lovely accountant team that takes care of the numbers part, because that's just not me.
Yeah.
But
Count me out.
that's probably the only thing that I'm like, here, that's you, that I'm going to take care of everything else. So, yeah.
So and I think a lot of people will recognize your work not only from the gaslight,
Yeah.
but you do a lot of like window paintings, right?
That's been a nice like filler time when I can't.
I've seen your work. That's not filler time. That's
I-
a full-time job. Hey, just on my lunch break here. Let me just dabble.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. Like, so the windows are great, quick items that I can do to fill in the time. That if I don't have an indoor piece or a large outdoor piece to do, I love getting to be able to do those, because they are really nice. And a lot of those, I just get to create on the spot, and everybody just lets me show up and do what I want. It's kind of like, I ask them, is there something you for sure want on there as far as like wording or some sort of special element? Like right now, everybody wants springtime stuff,
Yeah.
and that's great. That's perfect. But other than that, I get to just play and have fun. So it's fun. And if they don't like it, we wash it off and we try again.
And
Wow.
and the beauty of that is you legitimately
That's the
can.
beauty
That's
of
a
it.
return. Like
Yeah.
that's a once a quarter. Like, hey, we want you to do this, or Christmas stroll's coming up. I think the daffodil stroll's coming. I
Yep.
don't know.
daffodil straw.
Oh boy, you're gonna be
love
on
it.
that one.
I
So,
love it.
but that's cool. Have you always been artistic?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, mom has always like kind of instilled the creativity side in both Emily and I. I mean, and then just dad's always been like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want and go ahead. So like, it's always been there for us to just allow ourselves to be creative. So we've never really not done it. My uncle went to art school as well too. So, it's kind of just always kind of been there, and
Yeah.
we just always had that influence.
Just
as well
to capitalize on that, who is, if you had to sum it up, who would you think is your biggest influence? Like, who do you, whether it's, famous artist or people in your family or somebody in the community, somebody that's relevant now, somebody that's not, like, who would you say really drove the bus for you to start?
I mean, to start, just to want to do art, definitely my uncle. He's also my godfather, so
cool.
named one of my children after him.
Nice.
So, yeah, my Uncle Bill, definitely, for sure, because, like I said, just always instilled that creativity. And every time we did trips to New York, he makes sure we'd go to the different art museums. So he made sure
That's
that
cool.
we were immersed in that culture and able to learn and see firsthand those pieces and things like that we either learned about in school. And he's traveled the world, so he
Yeah.
always would bring home these trinkets and like.
Oh, I love trinkets.
I mean, yeah, right.
We have a trinket
Yeah.
wall at our house.
Damn, that's
Like,
the best
literally,
kind of
we have a
things.
trinket wall. Like, that's what it's called.
I am not. First off, I'm not surprised you love trinkets because you're in the middle of a garage cleaning out process.
Yeah.
You collect a lot of stuff.
Aye.
So you keep mentioning your sister Emily.
Yeah.
You guys are twins.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and that's
So much fun.
identical, fraternal, paternal, whatever they do with twins. I
They
don't know.
live in
Yeah,
frats. They're
identical.
paternal.
Yeah.
Paternal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm a twin
Yeah.
dad. I know a lot about twins.
Oh, that's
too.
right. I
Yeah.
forgot. Yeah. So Emily's artistic as well.
Yes.
And she's actually the art teacher at Southridge.
So yeah, she makes the artist. I just am one.
Nice.
Oh, I took art for a full year. I don't know if I was made
Yeah,
into
me
anything.
too.
Or a semester. It's a
Smoke, what
semester.
about
No,
you? You big
I've
artsy
actually
guy?
gotten to sit and watch and be in her classroom because one day they had twin day at school, and I'm like,
Nice.
oh, well, we got to do this. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Loads of fun because I had Emily go sit somewhere else, and I sat in her spot at the desk, and it was hilarious. They're like, "Hi, Miss Meyer. Oh, you cut your hair." No.
Hey,
Like, just played
here's the
along.
question. Could art be genetic?
I say yes.
Oh yeah.
I say yes.
Oh yeah.
But I've never really asked anybody.
So my wife,
Progression
Justine,
in
is
that area.
really Justine has like she took some art in college at IU, and my wife's the same thing. She just has no time.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like she is an artsy fartsy type as well. She
Fun.
can draw, paint. She's done all the different mediums and all that jazz. And it skipped our son. I'll say that.
Maxadoodle?
Yeah, Maxadoodle. And then like the girls, they have it, but Eleanor, like our youngest one, just that's the one we were
Yeah.
over at the gallery.
Okay,
And
cool.
one of her pieces was
Awesome.
selected to be over at the gallery, and
That's such a fun show.
just like coloring inside the lines and stuff like that when she was little.
precise.
Like, oh yeah,
And how to get the shading, right?
She blew our minds, like as far as coloring and all that shit. Like, wow, she's like a Rain Man for color crowns. You know, it was wild. But going back to something that you said a while ago about going like recognizing like famous pieces of art
Yeah.
and stuff like that. We went to see her studio on Thursday last week. Because Eleanor's had a piece in the gallery over at the Jasper Library, which is really cool, by
It
the way.
is. It's
If you
a
guys have
fun
never been over there, it's a
space.
pretty neat spot to check out. She was working on this huge piece, and the kids, Liz showed them around and stuff like that. Well, then Justine caught up and went into the same room, and then there was a skeleton, like the full-size skeleton.
Yeah.
They wanted to go look at that, and then there was a painting or like a reprint. Obviously, it wasn't the real one, but like of Starry Night,
Yeah.
like on the wall.
Yeah.
And my fourth grade daughter, Evelyn, like immediately recognized that. Was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's Starry Night." You know what I mean? And I was like, kind of like I'm not like, wow. I looked at Justine. I'm like, holy shit, they know what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's pretty cool. That they're teaching that stuff at a younger age, you know what I mean, and stuff. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
sure I didn't know what the hell that was when I was in fourth grade.
No,
But
I've seen Starry Night in person. It's,
no way,
it's
because that's
just-
what Max was like. He's like,
It's amazing.
that wasn't real, was it? And I'm like, no, bro. Like, and we were obviously trying to like. Max is like, that's got to be like the real one's got to be worth like $1 billion or some crazy stuff
yeah.
like that, don't you think? And I'm like, I don't know, dude, but I don't know. I just
It's a
think it's
buttload
cool.
of money. Yeah.
I think it's cool that kids are learning that whole aspect of it,
Yes.
at a younger age.
Yes, I agree. I know because I mean, Emily and I both agree art history is important
Right.
because it's just
It can be boring.
It can. I'm
Totally
not
can
gonna
be
lie
boring.
about that. I
But
had
it's
to pull
cool.
through a couple of art history classes in college where
Right.
like, okay, you got this, but it is important because we wouldn't have any of the steps we have today moving forward. And there's
Right.
some of art history that I don't understand. Dadaism. Whatever that was, it
Yeah.
was a
What
pain
was
in my
that?
Dada,
Arlo's
like literally
gonna
that's
look
what
it
it's
up.
called.
Oh, here
Yeah,
we go.
Google that for me because I can't even remember. I just remember it was very like kind of like tilt your head kind of artwork, and you're like,
I've
okay.
always felt like if they were, like the guys that like drill
it's
the holes.
literally spelled how it sounds. D-A-D.
They drill the holes in the bottom of the bucket.
Drill the holes. Oh,
They
that
drill the
stuff?
holes in the bottom of the bucket, and then they put the thing down,
That's just making a mess.
and then but then they spin it. I think that would, Dave, maybe we could do that. We could make our first $1 million doing that.
hey, that's exactly what
Or
we need.
what we could do is, Dave, you could lay down.
I was thinking I was going to paint my ass.
Yeah,
Paintbrush.
you could lay down naked, and then I could just swing
Just
that
start rolling.
all the way around
All right,
everywhere.
so we're going to move on from that thought.
Mental images have been installed.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
just tough.
yeah.
Now that you've regrouped after that,
We're
thanks
gonna
for coming
remake
back.
the,
Thanks for coming
Titanic.
back
Thanks for
to
coming
us.
back one.
We're gonna remake the Titanic scene in the lounge one of these days.
Arlo and I won't be here for that.
That's fine.
So Liz, you consider yourself to be a muralist,
Yes.
an artist,
Yes.
a creator.
Yes.
Is there anything else in there art-wise where you're like, this is a designer as well,
Painter.
painter? Is there anything that I left out there that, if Blonde Brush, if you're going to start putting like alphabet soup behind your name, like Liz Wertman, muralist, artist, painter, creator, designer.
And I'm trying to think of all the hashtags I usually put behind all my
behind
pieces.
everything.
Yeah.
Pro hashtag around
So
here.
what's your favorite kind of work to do?
Oh gosh. I mean, I love lots of detail, but I've been the simplistic designs that been coming around. I've been kind of really enjoying those, but it's really hard for me to simplify. So I've been liking learning that process as well. So it just makes you strip back everything, because like I said, I like to put a lot of detail into things. I like to make sure it pops off the wall.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's just kind of my style. But so learning that has been kind of interesting.
And when you're talking about that, like, is it just because like in the muralist style, generally you do stay simple?
It honestly depends on the style that the client wants, because it's every situation is different. Everybody wants something different. No one wants something that's the same, and I don't blame them, because why would you want to create the same
My kids
thing?
want you to come over and paint their room.
That's fine.
They said that at least 10 times on our way to Louisville the other day after
I can
leaving the
see that.
gallery.
Liz, if you're going in there, I've seen it. Be careful. Be careful.
Tread lightly.
Well, it's good now, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
the warden laid the law down this
laid
weekend. We
the
got
law.
her tuned in for sure.
So in creating art and doing this, like, some people would say, I don't believe Du Bois County has this art cultural hub,
Bull honky.
but it really has kind of
It's
grown and
changed.
taken off. So change. It'll explain how it's changed.
Well, I mean, it really, honestly, when I got back from college, it wasn't really existent. Like, I actually had my senior thesis show on 4th Street in Huntingburg, because we were allowed to have them wherever we wanted. So I decided to do it where actually Mama T's is. It was when they weren't there.
Yeah.
So it was an open space. So I talked with the realtor and I was like, hey, can I take the space to make a pop-up gallery and do this? I mean, there's always been the Jasper Art Center, and they've always done a wonderful job, but I always felt like it always stayed in just Jasper and never kind of bloomed out anywhere else. So Huntingburg never really had that sort of thing, and I feel like it has grown now, especially I think the cultural center has what's helped Jasper
Definitely.
really explode. And then just I like to think I contributed to what Huntingburg has changed.
Oh my
just
God, your work's everywhere.
Well, and that's I kind of yeah, because it's just taken a few people seeing the things that I've been doing in Jasper and elsewhere and being like, okay, we want this on our business, and then now I'm finally getting some actual like city officials and things like that. Like, okay, we need you to do this. We want you to do this. We want you to apply for this. And I'm like, that's great. So they're starting to see the need and the want of the people that are really wanting to see these things.
That's cool.
And I mean, that's like when I do my outreach to other companies, because people do contact me, but I do contact a lot of other people as well, saying like, hey, you need a mural, I sell it.
For sure.
So I that's in my part of like one of my slides that I have that I present to them is, why do they need this and why do they need me to do it?
Oh my
so,
God.
I mean, just explaining this to them, it really improves your visitors, your customer flow, those kinds of things.
I don't know how much sales wise, clientele building or whatever, but I'll just say from personal experience, that little loblolly skeeter pond that was behind the barber shop that the street department, we went in there and cleaned all that out, where Arby's is now in Huntingburg, Indiana. And then Liz did this huge, beautiful, traditional style Maxie's Barbershop on the back of the building. Just a big, like his logo, like Pop's logo on the back, you know. And then the traditional barber pole on the west side of the building. But when you're coming from Jasper and you get, just right there by 1408 or whatever, coming to the stoplight and you look, I mean, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Clear as day, Maxie's Barbershop. And I think stuff like that it's
Took
got
a
to
hidden
be
building and made it actually pop out.
Yeah,
it
like
really did.
it's got to be beneficial.
Can you imagine if the inside of Gaslight was just white?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That'd be rough, wouldn't it?
And there's your case study for art because
Yeah.
Well, he
go in
calls me
there
his
and just
art director, so I mean, it's like
Nice.
Now, is he
grab a
paying to
beer.
give you that title? That's where we need to start talking. It sounds like
Pay
maybe
me
I need
for
to slide
those.
a business card.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
helping
If you
Mitch
need
Carter.
legal counsel.
I'm helping Mitch Carter in his next negotiations, which I don't
There
know
you
if I
go.
am or not.
Yeah.
But
He's trying to launch my voiceover
his
career.
voiceover
He's gonna
career.
Work. Yeah, okay. I got
I'll just
legal
go
there.
ahead and bring you under the Dutchman agency.
Umbrella.
The
There
DA,
you go.
that's what it is, because all
Okay.
like the big
Yeah.
artists, you've got WME and you've got UTA.
UTI.
No, that's not good. Cranberry
I
juice
don't
takes care
think
of that.
that's the right
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Oh my
Sorry about
God.
So you not only do like the murals and the window art, but you also, I mean, like our cooler is a prime example of you do a lot of just fun stuff,
Yeah.
like kind
Yeah.
of, I would say consumer goods.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's another
Small
thing that's, and that's another way that I started Blonde Brush. Like, I painted sneakers. I've painted,
What?
gosh, now I gotta think. So I
Sweet.
wanted some for a Christmas present for their girlfriend. I was just like, yeah, please. So I'm like, what do you want on these? And he was like, she likes this, and this. So I've done piggy banks.
If I got my wife painted sneakers, she would slap the taste out of my mouth.
wedding shoes.
I wonder. I wonder
yeah.
if Chase Bland's shoes are ready for.
No. We don't need any added weight on those.
Oh, yeah.
this
That's
we need
right.
them babies
No,
light.
We're
Nah.
done.
Can you use some
Chase's
airbrush?
shoes are
I mean, that's
airbrush.
like ounces. If
Yeah,
he's,
that's literally.
I mean,
Man.
Hey,
That'd be
imagine
cool.
ounces
Custom
after
airbrush.
26.2 miles. That's going to be
I'm
tough.
not- them souls would be on fire
boy.
if they carried my big ass 26 miles.
The feet would be barking.
The dogs.
The dogs would
I
be barking.
contacted Liz quite some time ago about helping me draw a tattoo.
Same
One of
thing
my
here.
favorites.
Yeah, with my leg, and I
Do you still have that,
obviously
Casey?
I do.
chickened out, and
I do.
You know, I'm still a big wimpy poo on that deal, but yeah, like I never
Man
really,
up,
but I just
boys, it's not so
I know.
bad.
I know, right?
So it just a reference story Mace is talking about early on. He talked about a tattoo idea.
Yeah.
After my mom passed, I reached out to Liz and I was like, "Hey, give me something, hummingbirds and daisies." And
Oh,
it
yeah.
is a beautiful drawing that just simplify. It's so like it's simple, but like the elegance of it is just like
Yeah.
it's gonna look great. I just have to pull the
love
trigger.
that.
oh, you
Elegant.
haven't done it yet. I was gonna say, show it to us. Let's see.
Well, it's gonna go over my heart. I just haven't.
Oh, that's
I haven't
nice.
done it yet.
Dave.
There you go.
Well,
Dave-
Dave has a beautiful chest piece, by the way, which we
Turned out
can,
okay.
Full.
I've seen his Facebook profile
we
picture. I
can
know.
see it. We can see it off camera, Liz. You can check that beautiful work out.
Yeah. So that's that is a good point.
But yeah, I think that's kind of neat too. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely not going to draw my own tattoo up, and
Do you ever do anything like not painting, like I don't know what you'd call it, like structural art or something, where you're
Just something that's not not
Yeah.
my normal thing. No, I mean, I love drawing as well too. I know that's kind of like coincides with painting, but charcoal is like my favorite.
I love charcoal too,
I gotta
especially
get
when you put
dirty.
a steak on top of it.
yeah,
And a letter.
Kingsford original or Royal Oak.
Yeah, what
lump.
kind do you use? I'm a Royal Oak lump guy.
Vine.
Yeah. What about you, Smoke? You big charcoal guy, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm stuck on these pellets.
Yeah. I
I've
watched
done 'em too.
two guys on TikTok, and I could not tell you their name, which I'm probably not going to say their name anyway if I knew them. But one dude he's pencil, I guess you would say, and you talk about like detail and see if I can't butcher this intricacy
Oh boy.
of like
Pretty good.
like the shading and the lines and all this stuff. You know, he does portraits.
Yeah.
And like super realism portraits. You know what I'm talking about? He always wears a.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I've seen the guy, but I do like those like graphite
But
drawings.
he always wears like a Carhartt sock cap, and he's got real long blonde hair. But hundreds and hundreds of hours in these facial profile pictures or like facial portraits, and it is mind boggling how real it looks.
They're
like that
beautiful.
one's the first one. The second dude, he takes words or phrases and writes them a gazillion times to make
do a
the
picture?
yeah
Or-
to draw a picture like it, you know, whether like say if it was a picture of someone's mom, he would write like "I love you, Mom" 50 million times, like in
I'll
ink,
have to look that up.
or an ink pen, but like it. Some would be like a wider ballpoint or a finer ballpoint or whatever, and it's just the same. It is crazy.
Nice.
The different styles of art that I know I wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for people like you or TikTok or some old school art teacher back in the day that taught me about Starry Night and Vincent Van Gogh and all that stuff. But I just think, like you say, like thinking out of the box, like you drawing or sticking to, mural painting and stuff like that. But like just those other, I guess you would call it genres. I think those are really cool too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, all of it, you need to dabble in some of it. That's like when I went to art school, I actually majored in photography.
Right.
Thinking I was going to do a photography business when I was going out of it. But I made sure to dabble in everything. I mean, I took jewelry making, I did sculpture, I did hand building clay, I 2D, 3D drawing, painting.
Wow.
I mean, they had everything under the sun you could dream to take of.
Where'd you go to art school?
Heron School of Art and Design. It's on IUPUI campus in
cool.
Indy. So I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And they offer even more than what they did whenever I was there. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've
That's
been
cool.
going down a lot of sculpture rabbit holes lately, thinking that I
Really?
want to try to pound something out of a rock someday.
Honestly, that's the newfound thing. Like everybody's wanting sculptors right now. Like
I think that's awesome. That's something that you
Yeah.
haven't seen in a long time.
yeah,
Right.
I agree, and I think everybody's noticing that too.
Like with a chisel and a hammer?
That's
I
what that would be.
Or like the rock pick that old my dear friend Andy Dufresne used to bust out a Shawshank like that, like a little rock
so
pick.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So I
Cool.
I will be honest. I am, out of everybody in this room, I'm probably the least artistic person in here.
Not probably. That's yes.
Least artistic and most literal. Hands down.
I
He doesn't even dream.
Yeah, I
even
don't.
dream.
That's a tough spot. I am in a tough spot there, but I do have an appreciation for the arts because I can't do it. It's the same thing with
Fair.
musicians.
Yeah.
Like Dave could get the old guitar out and
Yes,
start picking,
sir.
and I'm like,
I'm out.
I just like
Hey,
I
you can
hate.
sing?
I can't sing.
I know.
It's tough.
Everybody can see.
Voice of an angel.
Yeah, voice of an angel.
Songbird of a generation.
But when I was in law school in Grand Rapids, they had started a art contest called Art Prize. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I have, yeah.
And I think that concept, so Art Prize is it was a month-long competition, and all these businesses in downtown Grand Rapids would host pieces of art.
Yes.
And it was amazing because I think the winner one year was like a graphite drawing of like buffalo soldiers, and it was huge. And it was unbelievable. But it's like, that's just one art show that I'm thinking of. Are there some like local where if a guy got into the car and headed and you could check out like crazy, just good artists such as yourself,
yeah.
Around this area?
I bet
where
you'd find
you
one in
could-
Bloomington.
Yeah. Well, honestly, locally, every first Thursday of the month at the Jasper Arts Center, there's a new gallery space every time. So every month they're rotating one of the galleries. So yeah, so yeah, coming up not this Thursday, but next Thursday they'll be rotating everything out, and there'll be a new gallery piece in there. I
That's
think
why Ellie was so persistent that we got our asses over there to
yeah,
see her
because it's not
drawings.
going to be
she's
up
like,
very
Daddy,
long.
we're going to miss
so,
it.
Yeah, so because like usually they're only up for about a month or two, and then they like either one of the galleries is changing out because they have three. They have three galleries up there. So I always try to make sure I'm there at first Thursdays. They've had some really amazing artists come in from there was a couple from New York that came in. There was there's one right now that's a teacher at UE. So they're always bringing in either local or other artists from other places. So it's really cool to see just different pieces being brought in. That's locally where I go. But yeah, if I get my chances, I go to Indy every time. Their first Fridays. Oh, those are the best.
Where do they do that at?
So that's pretty much anywhere in Indy. Mass Ave is going to be your biggest, but even up in like the Broad Ripple area, they'll do it. Fountain Square has their own. I mean, there's galleries everywhere you go.
Just don't find yourself on that speedway west of town
No.
where they've got the bars on the windows. Probably no art in there. Graffiti art, maybe.
We
yeah, maybe.
we went
just
to
the same.
yeah, for sure. We went to Asheville, North Carolina, and that is huge,
Artsy
fartsy,
world.
very hipster-esque, very like that style, rock, like
Yeah.
very cool. I
Now,
mean,
is-
not my cup of tea, but I mean,
Is
pretty
there a
neat.
distinction on, like, are hipsters always associated with art? Could you provide, like, a clarifying remark there?
I
Like,
don't.
What?
is there...
Like, do you find yourself wearing a lot of flannel?
yeah.
No,
When you're a lot
I-
of flannel.
I'm not a
Well, you're not a
flannel.
hipster though,
Well,
Dave.
but I wear a lot of flannel.
I get it. You're right.
I
right.
could be a hipster.
What else?
Do
Oh, like
you
I'm
wear your
wearing Uggs.
Birkenstocks with your flannel?
I'm wearing
I don't
Ugg shoes, which I've really just realized right now. With I don't
So,
know.
like, probably
and
the
Tom Brady.
best way to answer that is in the art world, we categorize said hipsters most likely are printmakers. So that's and then
there we go.
and then you're gonna have like some of your sculptors. They're gonna be more. I don't know.
Out of the art demographic, which one's the
Stereotypical.
weirdest? Like, everybody's like, avoid the watercolor, guys. They drink that shit.
Oh no, it has to be like
Honestly,
abstract.
it was
people.
the graphic designers for
Oh,
all of us.
Oh boy.
It was because they did not associate with us. They it was like they didn't want to be anywhere. They were like, well, we don't do concept work. I'm like, well, yeah, you kind of do. But anyway, but
Sounds like a little beef in there.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
That's awesome.
oh, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, us.
See, this is cool stuff.
So is the graphic designer world, like, is that like a male dominated where they don't know how to talk to ladies? Like, we can bash them as much as you want.
No, definitely not. It was actually more girls. So it was just more like catfighty kind
Straight
of
up.
stuff.
Hashtag mean girl
yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
No,
mean girl shit.
No, most of the guys were the potters and the
How much weed do they
painters.
smoke?
The Potters.
Potters.
How much weed they get into?
Nice.
Or do they recreate the scene in
Ghost.
Ghost, that's what it is.
What's a
Gets me
classic?
going every time.
Oh man, speaking of that, there's a huge going to a little art history here. But Yellowbanks, did you know that little fun
the
fact there?
pottery out of Yellowbanks?
Yellowbanks Clay down here, the old
Nice.
Yellowbanks Clay Company.
I
Right
will
down
say,
here.
in high school art, my best stuff was the clay works.
Oh man,
I just enjoyed it. No clue. I mean, she had to help me get it on and off, but hey, I could figure that shit out pretty
Hell
good.
yeah, man.
There's some original.
I was really
clay
good at
art stuff.
rolling Play-Doh snakes.
So you were good at the hand building stuff.
Yeah, like the Play-Doh snakes, and then like you take the little scraper deal and build his eyes and stuff.
So
Pretty
Play dog turds.
Yeah.
It's a word.
Zach, that is your third dog turd of the
Hey,
semester.
enough making
I'm just
shit,
good at
Mr. Masner. That's enough poop for today.
I think the one thing that's fascinating about like modern art that I think about is money laundering. So have you? I'm sure you've dove into that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Money laundering. So
He's talking about counterfeiting bills.
essentially,
I
here's
think you're
what
talking about buying art to launder money. And
you
then,
absolutely can.
Oh.
There's a few.
like
there's a few
Ozark,
things.
like
So-
getting a laundromat
So
to
here's
wash
what you
dirty
do
money.
is
Yeah.
here's what you do is you hire an artist.
Hold on, I need to take notes. Okay, go
Right.
ahead.
25 grand to paint you an art piece. You have your buddy who's the appraiser say it's worth $5 million.
Oh,
You
yeah.
then take that and donate it, and you can avoid taxes doing it that way. Or you can take like dirty money, buy art with it for clean money. So
Unreal.
I always
sounds
I go
like-
down that route. Is when I
It
think
sounds
of
like the art
too.
business can be kind of shady.
I mean, it can be either being the artist, it can be shady. Being the artwork, it can be shady. Or there's multiple tunnels to where either somebody can get screwed over.
Well, let's capitalize on that. Let's dig into that a little bit. For you, like you said earlier, working on the quotes and working on like how, like you talk about art appraisers and stuff like that. Like, how does one put a price on, their art?
That's why they say it's priceless. There, Chief.
Yeah, exactly. So how would one quote a job? Like, obviously
Yeah.
you got time and material,
Yeah.
there's probably 50 million variables that go into that. Like,
Yeah.
how does that work?
So I go by square footage when it comes to the murals and signage.
Oh, yeah.
But then basically then next I'll ask you what surface are we painting on? whether it's drywall, brick, or cinder block. Now, drywall, of course, is going to be like your numero uno easiest thing to paint on because super smooth, easy, done, did. Brick and cinder block can be way more porous and suck up the paint.
Oh, yeah.
So that might take a couple of coats.
Yep.
But then that will kind of either determine your price. And then next would be, what design are you wanting? Are you wanting more of the simplistic kind of design, or are you wanting the more middle of the road, or are you wanting super realistic, all detail? That's the next step that's going to determine your price. So yeah, it can range from anywhere from $15 per square foot all the way up to $40 per square foot. It's just how balls to the walls do you want to go in this?
Well, I would assume you'd have to rent equipment too, right?
Yeah. So it depends. Like, because one of the pieces I quoted, and I do my best to try and help them out to figure out, like, because lifts to rent around here
Expensive.
are not cheap. Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
So usually I ask, like, especially if it's like an outdoor project and we might be working with the city, we might not be like, hey, call the city, ask if we can borrow their lift for the day or, or for the week, whatever, how long the project's going to take.
Jig lift?
So, but like,
We'll
or
rent it
there's
out
a school,
to artists.
things like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just try to make sure I help them on figuring out how to get that equipment for free or borrow somebody else's, so that way we can help out in that price tag.
And the brick being like porous, and then you think about the mortar being in like that. You're brushing this, right?
Oh, yeah. So one I did this last summer, I have never seen brick like this in my entire life. It like holes and cracks that's the size of my thumb. That I'm oh my God, I'm gonna be here all day.
That real porous, striped brick, the stuff, the textured brick
tough.
face.
And I mean, it had no paint on it ever before, and it was brand new
like a
bricks. I'm like,
sponge.
oh my God.
Do you have to primer some of that, or no?
I should have.
Like
Normally
spray it?
I would.
Thanks for bringing up a touchy subject
it's okay.
there.
Sorry.
No.
Some bitchin' brick.
This interview's over.
So then what
Well,
I
we found
normally
out
should
Liz
do-
hates brick, so that's good. Just so everybody knows, folks at home.
Not all brick, but yeah. But no. But learning process of it, I went and grabbed some spray paint, got the paint into those holes with the spray paint because it's just so much easier that way and quicker. And then I went through with my brush because that's just the best way to get that final
Speaking of
detail.
spray paint, have you ever done like graffiti art?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's been one I've been learning a lot,
pretty
but I
cool.
love it.
Man,
Yeah.
I had a couple buddies back in school. One of my buddies, he's passed away, but like, do you remember Jose Calderon?
Yeah.
He was really good at
Yeah.
it, man. Like, he was a very talented artist. But like go ahead.
Well, there's a kid back home that was on the FBI wanted list for all the damage he'd caused by tagging stuff.
Wow.
Like different buildings and trains and the stuff into train cars.
I love watching the trains.
I hate that is illegal. Like, I do. Like, if it
Here
was,
we go.
Oh, the attorney
Here,
just
go
was
ahead,
like,
go ahead.
if it was-
I can't wait to hear this.
if it was my train car, I would probably be pissed. Or if it was my
I
business,
think it's like the brand new Fords that are inside of it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
That-
you're
that
right.
they all come out with little white specks on it, like somebody just I don't know, spray painted through the little
Or
holes.
if it was my storefront or something that got all tagged up, like, I would probably be pissed. But like your bridge abutments, your overpasses, your like coal
Water
train
towers.
cars. What'd you say?
Water towers.
Water towers, things of that nature. Like, I just think that style, like, it's very raw, and like that dude that did this mural down here in Holland with nothing but spray paint, like no brushes or nothing. I know the quality is not
not a quality thing. I just wish he would have done something because you have the brick, you have the wood,
Yeah, that's
and
gonna-
it doesn't mesh very well.
No, it's going to be
And-
rough.
Yeah,
But that style, you know what I mean? Like that medium of just straight spray paint, and then like those big, traditional style bubble letters, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's really cool.
And spray paint's not easy. Granted, you can change out your nozzles and things like that
Yeah.
to get bigger and
Right.
smaller lines and things like that. But it is a learning curve. I mean, it's been fun to learn for sure.
Yeah.
So
That's
but
cool.
Yeah. Applause to those who've been doing it and stuff.
Legally.
'Cause it's
legal graffiti artist.
Legal-ish.
exactly.
How much are you like in the schools or different kind of programs around for young local artists?
Yeah, so I've got to speak just this semester, I would say. I spoke at Forest Park for their career day. I spoke at Southridge Middle School for their career day. and I've spoken with the Northeast Du Bois art class. And I mean, so pretty much I've gotten to speak it with just about every school. I think Jasper's the only one that I haven't got to physically talk with.
Well, they need
their
to get
full
on board.
group.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. But no,
People
it's
that
fun
live
to get
in the
to talk
greater
with them. I really
Jasper,
agree.
Greater Jasper.
Bring Liz Wertman in to talk to you.
Yeah.
They
She's
do
good.
bring a lot of kids to the cultural center, which is great. So they actually get to see me working in my studio. But it would be nice to get to talk to them because I love getting to show, like, especially the high schoolers. Because I remember being in high school and like not knowing anything of what I wanted to do outside of art school. I knew I wanted to do art school, and that was going to be what I was going to do. No clue what else from there. But honestly, I just love getting to show them that you don't have to be a starving artist. You can do this as a business, and you can be successful at it.
Diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do this for you. You don't have to do it for anybody else.
And I think the cool thing about what you're doing is the entrepreneurial side of it.
Yeah.
Where you're running your own business, like that's your baby.
Yeah.
And it's a very unique thing when it's yours because the headaches and the worries never stop.
No.
But then on top of that, like it's got to be therapeutic, and maybe you can explain it a little bit, but you're like, oh, dealing with another problem, but then you can just, put the earbuds in or whatever you do to get in the zone, and then you can just go to work and you're like, what's the problem? Like, how does that feel? How does that work for you?
No, that's actually a really fun process in my studio because usually I'll start the day out with some cheerful, happy music and things like that just to get things going, answer the emails because that's probably like my least favorite part and because I don't
What is an early jam song? What's an early jam song?
Yeah, like how does this...
that Arlo can pull up
That's
and we
right.
can jam to a little bit, maybe not.
Maybe
that could
after
get us
a
on
while.
It's
too
copyright, so we
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we
Yeah.
can maybe on the break or something.
On the break,
but
we can.
How does that work? Walk
So
us through that.
it's called literally on my Spotify. It's called the Happy Mix playlist, and so it'll play anything from my Disney songs to my Ava Max, and then
Uh-oh.
rats! I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, this is why it's
Spotlights.
called Blonde Brush. But no, but it's funny because if I through the day, if something has gone awry, like if I get an email saying like, "Hey, we love this sketch, but came back with some pretty much revisions of change the whole entire sketch," and be like, "Gosh dang," get a little mad, get a little
You can say,
frustrated.
"Damn it, it's
yeah,
all right."
I know. I'm trying to do better. I got a 5-year-old at home.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, not everybody's like you and just F this,
Yeah,
F
you-
that.
Well,
You're
now
like,
give
I
me some
used to
credit.
be.
Good God.
But no, and so then depending on how mad I am, it might change to a different playlist, being either
Yeah.
doing my All American Rejects to Bowling for Soup kind of thing, and then if you're really hear the next level, then just don't even bother coming into my studio. So it's like more like my Skillet and Red and things like that.
I
It's like-
envision like some super dark, like German techno music.
no.
no.
You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
some real gnarly shit where you
Yeah.
can just lock in and go after it.
No.
So a lot of people, like you hear it about writers, they have a certain area where they have to write, and it helps flow. You've talked about your studio.
Yeah.
Can you? I mean, obviously, you've got to be able to create almost anywhere and everywhere based on
Yeah.
kind of the work you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I pretty much load up the minivan with whatever supplies I need for the day and my
Throw the
little
soccer balls
little
out and-
wagon. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I love my fold down seats.
Yeah.
When
Hell yeah.
when are you gonna paint the minivan?
Oh man, when it's paid off, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like
Good
officially
call.
mine.
Good call.
Yeah.
I don't know if shout out Michael and Eric Oliner of Freedom Bank wants you to.
Right.
I don't know where
Yeah.
your auto loans
Yeah.
to,
Whoever
but-
that, whoever that institution
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Important.
So, do you ever get like what do you do to get past the creative block? Like you wake up and you're just like, the kids are being terrible.
God, I don't
Chad's
wanna
being an
go.
asshole. I got to come here to try to work. Like, how do you get past that block to get into that space where you can create?
I mean, I will step away from the project that's either giving me the issue because pretty much if I'm not in the mindset, I won't touch the piece because things will just continue to go wrong.
Yeah.
So
a happy-go-lucky thing turns into a death scene really fast.
Exactly. Nothing. Pretty much nothing.
Not
can
what we
continue
envisioned.
to
It's
go
like
good.
somebody butchered a squirrel on this thing.
Exactly. So where then you're just like, and you're like, you gotta, just throw all the paint away. But no, I just usually have to step away and go do another medium and work with something else because then it just seems to all start to make sense. I've calmed down, and then usually working with that other piece, I'm like, my mind is thinking of other ways to fix it. And then I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. Let's get back into that piece and let's fix this. So it's all a way of just trying to reset and just.
How many irons you got in the fire at once normally?
Right
That's
now,
the
3.
one David Smoker question.
That's all right. We're
Yeah.
good.
So
We're
like
good.
doing the billboard right now, and then usually while I'm waiting for paint to dry, on that I move to my piece that I'm
Man,
actually
that would be
creating
my
for
favorite
myself,
part.
which
Waiting
has
for
been really
paint
fun.
to dry.
And then,
You know what I mean?
Then I'll jump over to doing sketches for somebody else for another piece that they're waiting on.
Wow, that's nutty, man.
So there's always something to at least, and I like being able to do that because if, like I said, if I get frustrated with something, I can step away. Let's go work on a sketch. Let's go get our mind off of this topic and onto something else.
I think it's a magic question, which I know it's a magic question for me, but through everything you've ever done, whether it's, I could only imagine, but let's just say if you had one piece that sticks out in your mind as like your favorite, or
the
like
favorite child.
maybe it was the icebreaker for blondebrush, or maybe it was something that you did for somebody that was super sentimental, or if it was something that you had to think of, not to put you on the spot, but I am.
No, it's okay.
What is your favorite piece? What is the one of them that jumps out at you that you think?
Wandering Dutchman Cooler. Thanks, Liz.
I know.
Hey, great question, Zach.
All
All
right.
right.
What's something that you could think of?
No, I love every piece I get to do, of course, obviously. Else I wouldn't create it to begin with, but or even submit the sketch. But probably the first one that comes to mind is the one I did in Jasper, the snail mural. Schnitzel, the snail.
Schnitzel.
Yeah.
That's
it was
awesome.
so, like, when I get to do these pieces, I actually like to learn about the space that I'm incorporating in, especially when they are more of a waymaker kind of space, I guess. So like a destination. So it was supposed to be, kind of all about Jasper, all about Indiana, why, I guess how the best way to phrase it. But so it was a grant that we got through the IDCC or something. I think I said that right. But basically Indiana destination. So we had to make sure they only had one stipulation that we had to put in Indiana in there somewhere. Their little logo.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make sure it said something about Jasper, said something to be, as it should,
Yeah.
honestly. So, I wanted to include even furthermore something about the building that it was going on, because it was going on finishing touches building. I submitted like 3 or 4 different sketches. I went up. Beauty part of being in the cultural center, there's the library, and they have all the history books of all mankind about Jasper. So it was nice to get to research even more and learn more about Jasper. So it was really cool. I did all these hours of research, and I went to the Du Bois County Museum. I was not finding anything that I was just like remotely inspired with, as far as just like, this is it. This is the sketch. This is what I want to do. Because usually it's once I get that, it's in my head and I gotta draw it out.
Right.
2 hours in the Du Bois County Museum, long story short, there's this little sign, literally this big, as I'm getting ready to walk out. It's the last display, and it's of a snail. I'm like, what? I'm like, why is there a snail on the wall? So I read it. Pfaffenweiler, the sister city of Jasper,
Yeah.
has a snail festival.
Unreal.
Every year.
Hey!
So then there was
That's
another.
hilarious.
Yeah. So there was another little thing.
What?
So talking with Dean, the Mayor Dean von der Heide, he's like, oh yeah, they take snail shells and if you find an empty one, you place it around the fences. They're everywhere. You don't throw them away or anything like that. You set them out and honor them. And so I'm like, this is brilliant, because what everybody says when they come to visit Jasper is they like the slow down pace. They like that time tends to stand still. And I'm like,
I like the traffic sometimes.
I'm like, this is it. So
Kind of like the traffic sometimes,
exactly.
right, Dave?
So, but like, yeah. But it's just, it all came together. And so like, I want people to ask, like, okay, well, why the snail? I want them to ask that, because
20
they
years
should
behind
learn.
cultural decay or something like that, right, Dave?
10 years. Didn't he say 10 years?
10 years or whatever behind social decay.
It's amazing how, like, something so small and a throwaway to anybody else is what leads to the inspiration.
Yeah,
so cool.
exactly. And then like the flower work design behind that was actually a photo album inside the DuBois County Museum that was from one of the Jasper founding families. It was a design on that photo album. So I just kind of took pieces from that and put it all together in one line, basically, behind the snail. So I like being able to take those kind of family pieces and also just history pieces and make them into what they're supposed to come alive as. And
That's
I want,
cool.
like I said, I want people to ask, and I'm like, well, I want them to learn the history as well too. So
Yeah. So
Super
we
cool.
we had a Merkley's choice cut question for the week. Choice cut questions of the week for the fellas
you got it.
about how you dream. And obviously I don't dream, so I'm out on this. And these other guys have to
Yes.
comment, but like, are your dreams like abstract thoughts of what you're working on, or is it how do your dreams play a part in what
Probably
you
dreams about
create?
Chad.
So
Like constantly. Because I would. That big ogre looking blockhead. He's a
Lord.
good looking dude. I'll say it.
no, so
Liz bounces out that act.
Dave, I don't know if you know her husband or not, but his nickname is Ogre.
I didn't know that was the nickname.
He is a big, giant, stinky hunk of man meat. He is a monster. Ogre. Chadwick. Love you, brother.
you're gonna make him blush.
I know.
No, I don't think much embarrasses that guy.
He's a huge fan of the show.
Big fan
I
of
Oh
the
my
show.
gosh. Yeah, I will say this, like, your guys' show has saved car rides for me and Chad, because usually I'm the driver, because it's just how I am, and he's the passenger. We don't make it to blushes half the time, guys, and he is...
There's that mental
I was like, you gotta
disconnect.
be freaking kidding me. We have a 3-hour drive.
I
and
thought she
you're
was
already
going to say
asleep.
that we made him do that, but it's actually the other way around.
So
Yay!
now I have something to converse with. You keep him awake for me, and I'm just
baby.
like, yes. So we anytime
baby.
we've already listened to it, we still play it, and we're like, oh my god, yeah. And then we're able to talk. Like, we sparks up a conversation. I'm like,
That's
thank
hilarious.
God.
That's great.
So are you
Enriching
gonna
lives.
feel? Well, I guess go ahead and answer.
No, you're good. Yeah. So dream wise, so my best dreams are like most vivid dreams actually are when I'm pregnant, because I don't know what that does to you. Like, I have the worst nightmares when I'm pregnant.
Janelle has too.
my god.
Scary
Janelle
stuff.
shared one of hers one time, and I was like,
No way,
"Don't ever
dude.
tell me that again."
Right?
No. Like,
I know.
I don't want that.
Because I woke up crying one time
So
from
did
one
Justine
of mine.
the other
and Chad's
night,
like,
but she's
what's
not
wrong?
pregnant, though.
I'm like, I don't know. But
As far
no.
as I know.
So, yeah, no, like, one of mine was... they're absolutely crazy. Like,
Oh,
none
yeah.
of it, they
I love
have
it.
nothing to do with what I'm
I
working on.
love it.
I don't know if it's just like with the workload that I was doing. I don't know. I had to save the bowl of mac and cheese from the
Oh,
thunderstorm
shit,
going on
yeah.
outside. So I don't know if it was because I had a tight deadline or what was going on. But
I've never
I kept
been
running
pregnant.
back and forth. I'm like, right?
Hey, I've never been
Insane.
pregnant, but I think hot sauce is my trigger. Like, I've never had a pregnancy dream because I've never been
Yeah.
pregnant,
Yeah.
to my knowledge. But
That's
those
crazy.
are my most like
I had a
vivid
dream
ones.
about us the other night doing on some great adventure, and I forget
Yeah.
what it is now.
No, that was just last Wednesday night.
oh,
No, there was another great adventure in a dream.
I have a dream.
Yeah, I don't dream, so that's tough.
That's wild to
that
me,
is.
man.
I know. I agree.
I have awesome
I do.
dreams.
Thanks, guys. Keep rubbing it in. The one thing I'd like to do
Off to the
I
movies.
told
So
you about
you-
my Tom Selleck
Oh,
and
my
Toby Keith
God.
thing, right?
Oh, nice.
Tom Selleck and Toby Keith.
Oh, it's still going to be a movie someday.
Yes.
Are you just going to save it for the show, or you want to dump it here in the
It
interview?
doesn't matter. I can
You
say
do
it.
whatever you
I'm
want.
intrigued.
Let's keep that in the tank.
Yeah, we'll keep it in
Okay.
the tank.
That's a
So
good one. I
I-
cannot wait.
I don't know if our listeners and watchers, but we had a conversation. It was Dave's question during the show about art in the digital form.
Yeah.
And you actually posted a response, which was cool.
I did.
And I just kind of bring that back up and kind of like, first off, what spawned you to reply to three dumbasses talking about nothing we have?
Oh, she's a wonder.
Well,
she
she's
likes
wonder.
it.
She's a wonder.
Yeah, but I mean, that response though was like on point about where you're at and kind of explains your process a little bit.
Yeah. No, so like I know you talked about more of the music end of it, which is brilliant because that's what I love about just the art world in general. Everyone has a different thought or mindset because it's all different of the process. So I'm just now kind of learning the digital part of creating art online. Like early on in my business, I had people ask me about, you should create your artwork in NFTs. And now where are those NFTs at?
They're NFT.
I was like, I'm glad I didn't waste my
Basically,
time with that.
NFTs, you create them,
Yeah.
and then people like buy and sell them, but they're like digital art.
What's
Yeah.
NFT stand for?
Non-fungible token.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I was like, I don't know.
Refungible?
Fungible. Non-fungible, as in you can't touch it, feel it,
Yeah.
own it, anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Duly noted.
So usually I used to do all my pieces just in a sketchbook, and then I would either snap a picture of it on my phone or I'd actually go present it to the client and show them, the sketch that I was wanting to do as the painting. But now with doing it on the iPad, I'm able to take a picture of just the actual wall and then put that picture into my iPad and then draw straight onto it so they actually can see what it would look like on the
That's nutty.
space.
That's cool.
And even in turn, then like the logo piece that I'm working on right now, I could take that and project it onto the exact piece.
Because I commented that because she had one of them old school.
I did.
One of them
The
old school
acetate
Mr.
film,
Osborne
yeah.
projectors, that
Overhead
we were
projector.
shooting up the old
Yes.
current events there, buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shout out Tom Osborne,
Yeah,
big fan of the
Old
show.
Tommy, big fan.
But yeah, I like that makes doing it that way a lot easier. I know there's a lot of artists that do that because they call it the doodle method, to where they do it in their iPad, and then they'll take that projection and literally take that doodle that they've done on the wall and then put that in their iPad, overlay it, and then that's how they figure out where all their points need to be. So, I mean, it really has changed a way of how we can create and how we can make things either easier or just make things in a totally different way. Because there's some artists that are drawing on these iPads that I'm just kind of like, I'm doing good to figure out the standard pen
And to me,
on
that's
it.
still a person making that digitally. I guess what you've been seeing so much of lately and what kind of sparked that whole thing off when I brought it up is all this AI stuff to
Yeah.
where it's not,
Yes.
you're putting inputs in, but it's not being created by a person.
Yeah.
It's an algorithm that all the inputs go in and it spits out what it thinks you're asking for.
And then they're taking
that's
those
the
styles
stuff
from
that's
artists.
like, oh man, like that's more the, I think the angle I was going. Because
Yeah.
back to the iPad thing, the stuff I've been seeing that blows my mind on iPads, and I guess it's not even that big of a deal, but it's the thought process to get there. But you start out and you see somebody sketched up, somebody driving in their car, and then they zoom in on the reflection of the windshield, and it's
And it just
some
keeps
other
going.
photo, and then they zoom in on that, and now you've got like this multifaceted, like 10 level deep picture that starts out on 8x10 iPad, but you never be able to draw something that, I shouldn't say never, but if you're on a traditional format
There's
of
only
paper,
so far you
yeah.
can magnify. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So I think
That's
that's pretty
crazy.
slick.
Yeah,
just
I
the
agree.
thought process to get down there. But
Yeah.
I guess it would be just like a different media, different genre in itself, like just digital creation like that.
Exactly.
I want to ask you a question. Going around the room, what art medium would suit that person? Like projecting what kind of artist or what kind of medium they would work in. I would be interested to see what she has to say.
Huh. I mean, the sculpture thing would definitely be you for sure. Whether it's with a chainsaw
I
or
knew
something.
he was going to get a cool one.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Arlo?
Yeah. Arlo, I think I see more as like an illustrator kind of thing.
Oh, writing children's books.
Yeah, I mean, they're, comic or anything like
Oh,
that. Like,
comics.
Yeah.
that kind of thing, because it's definitely more methodical, because you have to make sure things are in line, in row kind of thing.
Stay tuned for my children's book on
you go.
Amazon.
Yeah.
It'll be out shortly.
Oh, God.
What,
Wandering
what about-
Dutchman children's book. Oh, Lord
my
have mercy.
God.
We can't do that. We don't need to be educating the young minds.
Here we go. Here's
Exactly.
What about Big Mace?
Oh, gosh.
modeling clay?
Good job, little Zach.
Play-Doh cat turds.
I
Good
know, you think
job.
I had so much fun with the pottery. No.
Tough one.
That is a tough one. I don't know.
Paint.
Probably
Yeah,
something in
I know. It's like
concrete.
something with paint, though.
Something in concrete.
I know. Right. I think something in paint.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The bucket with the holes in it, like
There
I
you
said
go.
earlier. Yeah.
That
See,
would be.
getting
David
fun.
sketched.
What do you
it.
got
Yeah.
for me?
What do you got for you?
Something very literal.
Yeah.
I know.
A tracer.
Probably an ink.
I don't know. What about woodworker? Because that was cool. Because we had a wonderful
woodworker.
wood shop, but I was always afraid of all the power tools. But even though there was always helpers,
I will
But-
say this. That's a great compliment, a great idea.
Craftsman?
Need to build
Yeah.
another barn so I can have a wood shop out there.
Oh yeah.
But old Papa Frank has created some very nice pieces, and I wish he would
Yeah.
just create, and I'll sell them for you.
There you go.
Like, people love this stuff. Like, they absolutely love it.
I wish
But
I would have paid
it's just-
attention more to my old Wild Bill back in his prime.
Yeah, it's a true.
Yeah.
Well, it's that true craftsmanship of it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
I love the guys up at Bear Hollow.
Oh, yeah.
That what they
They're
do with the
cool.
chainsaws.
Oh, my gosh.
First off, you got to be a little bit of a crazy sumbitch to like take a chainsaw,
Yeah.
and carve something out of it. But then to be able to create something where you're like,
There
oh
was
my
a local,
gosh,
There was a local girl, a woman around here that did it, and that Justine actually job shadowed her in high school.
Cool.
Pretty neat. She had to quit though because it
Carpal tunnel.
yeah, it ate up her wrists and arms and stuff.
oh,
don't
with
doubt
chainsaw.
that.
Well, and
That's it.
like back then, the saws were a lot heavier than they are now.
Yeah, now they got the little mini ones.
The light
now.
ones,
Yeah.
yeah, which we
Changed
just
the game.
bought one. Pretty neat.
Is there an underground like art guild around here where you guys all get together, like the gaslight and drink beer and
No.
talk about what's going on?
I wish if they are, let me know. Hook me up.
Yeah, cool.
No, I mean there is an art guild of Du Bois County, but it is a little bit older generation. I know there's some younger ones sprinkled in there, but they hit a specific style, and which is great. I mean, they all do beautiful work, but I mean, I feel like there needs to be something more diverse. I mean, it would be really fun.
you young up and coming artists and these old artists, is there like a turf war?
I mean, there always can be. I mean, it's no different than
Damn whippersnappers.
Well, yeah.
back in my day, we used actual lead paint.
Yes, exactly. Not because I mean you get that like, well, I've been doing this for 35 years and I've never had to do this before, and this is just all from ones that I follow 2 artists on Instagram, and they get they'll get backlash for things that they say or things that they've done. They're like, well, I don't do this for clients, and they'll be like, oh, well, I've done that for clients for many years, but it's like sealing their work. Like it's literally 50-50. Half artists don't do it, and half artists do it. As far as like sealing it up with a clear sealant. So honestly, I'm on the no side because one, it's $100 a gallon. So I try to save my clients money on those kinds of things. And 2, I'm already using a paint that's UV protected. So why would I want to do another one?
Well, and
top?
on the flip side, I'm going to be honest. It's kind of like when I was in the old private practice game. Repeat clients are always great. Hey, we come back and we do a little touch-up work there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We do a little touch-up work there.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's all in my contract. So, if there's something that does go wrong or something comes awry, give me a call. I fix it right up.
Yeah, there you go. What do, I really kind of think you're a trendsetter in this. And no, and I really, and I'm not saying it just because you're here in Smoker's Lounge, but what you've been able to take like your business to do. There's nobody else doing it.
Yeah.
How does that feel to be a trendsetter, not only an entrepreneur like we talked about earlier, but like with how you're doing it, the way you're doing it, the outreach part of it? Like, have you ever had a moment where you just stopped and like when you're having a bad day, be like, I'm doing something kick ass, just got to keep trucking?
Yeah. I mean, that at least happens once a week. And like, can I keep doing this? Am I going to be able to keep this business alive kind of thing? But it is all literally making sure I'm putting in the gumption to do that and to do the work and things like that. I love being the, kind of the person of the area that's able to do this around here. It is really fun. And I know they're learning a lot from me as far as that goes. I do follow a lot of artists in indie that do this as a full-time job. They've done it for multiple years. They've been really gracious on, sharing their insights with me and things like that, which is great and fantastic. I think artists all should learn from each other and learn from each other's mistakes and even the successes as well too. So it's just, where was I going? But I mean,
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Happens.
Have you ever teamed up with another artist like on a project?
So I want to. That's on my like list of things to do. I definitely want to team up, and I know like Leah Dykoff, Rhonda's daughter. She went to art school and she's done murals. Yeah,
hey, we're creative down at 1025.
She's done murals up in Indianapolis and stuff. So I would love to like go do with her. That would be really fun. Like I said, there's 2 artists in Indianapolis that are amazing. I'd love to be able to work with them, but they are literally. They're here. I'm here. My standards.
All we got to do at Dutchman Agency, put a phone call in.
Yeah. We
and
can make things happen.
And we're actually going to be in the Indianapolis area.
We can do some groundwork.
On the 7th because we've got a marathon to run and Arlo's got a 10K to run.
I guess I should start.
You should start training, yes.
Yeah, we got stuff
but,
to do.
I mean, we could stop by.
There you go.
If we show up, the mustache on point like that. We show up. We could probably get some things done.
There you go. Good.
Hey, I would like to switch
that.
gears. So for most people that don't know you, you're a mom.
Yes,
And
I am.
You have 2 kids?
Yep,
right?
2 boys.
2 boys. And one thing that I think about with you is Robert. So maybe like Robert's Rangers, if you want to explain some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so Robert back 2019 December. Most of it we found out did scans in late November. No, it was just early December. Yeah. So anyway, did scans and originally thought the worst when we got the news because they thought it was I must say it wrong now. Basically, we found a lump on the side of his face. So when we initially got the first scans, they're like, yeah, we need to get you to St. Jude's. We need to get you there now. So, speedball forward a little bit at St. Jude's, and they're like, no, it's not what the doctors originally thought. It's actually, I hated this phrase when they first said it to me. Like, if you had to pick which kind of cancer to have, this is the one you want. And I remember them saying that phrase to me, and I wanted to punch them in the face.
Yeah, because
there's
none of
it. I don't even want to fucking be here.
Yeah, exactly. There's none of it that you want.
Yeah.
They were saying it in the nicest way. I know that now, but I'm like I get that, but.
It's still cancer.
Yeah, it still
and it's still
sucks.
scary as shit.
And it really sucks when you have to sit there and watch your child go through it.
Oh my God.
Who just sits there with a smile on his face because, like, when we got the phone call and the doctor telling us what he thought it was, I mean, 2 parents crumbled to the floor. And Robert just comes walking up to us and he just peels both of us back. He's got this big smile on his face and he's just like, Mommy, Daddy, why are you sad? And we just, all again, crumple back and just give him a big hug because he has had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And so it ended up having LCH, Langer cell histiocytosis. So it's basically
Say that 5 times,
right,
Arlo.
exactly. But yeah, so it's basically where your white blood cells are not doing their job properly. They're malfunctioning. So they were creating a mass on kind of Robert's orbital bone. So it then was creating pressure on his eye. So it made his eye kind of swell up when he would take naps. And we thought we like had allergic reaction or something like that. No. So it was just like we finally, after a while, we were just like, we're done trying to figure this out. Let's do this. And so that, like I said, Speedball, they sent us at St. Jude's right away. And that place, guys, I'm not, when they like the commercials, the commercials don't do it like they put a lot of hoopla into it, but I'm not kidding, that place is magical.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like I can't even describe it because like
they don't mess around up there.
No, they don't.
Like, that is
they don't. And
very
they
good
put everything
organization.
forward. It is the care of the child and the care for you as the parent.
Yep.
They want to make sure you are okay and that your kid is okay. And
Yep.
there's nothing else that freaking matters. And
That's
you're going to get
awesome.
the best care in the world. And I loved that. The doctor did tell us, like, he's like, you guys can go somewhere that's closer to home, because we drive all the way down to Memphis, Tennessee every time. And they're like, you guys, this place and this place that are closer to home that you can go. He's like, but not to toot my own horn, I am the number one in the nation for this type of
I guess we're staying here then.
Memphis is great this time of year.
I was like,
They got great
honestly,
barbecue.
we're not going anywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
you're here, and I go, I've seen what non-pediatrics has gotten my kid, and I was like, so I'm staying here. You guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know how to treat my child,
Right.
and his pain. So
Always
yeah.
a firm believer, and you go where the experts are.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you go where that is.
And it's just been absolutely amazing. Even when we still have to go for checkups every 6 months, and it's like Robert's never left. They're always happy to see him. You know,
That's
it's
cool.
like oh my gosh, you've gotten so big. And I'm like, no, right?
Yeah.
And that's
seen
what
his dad?
Robert's Rangers. That's what I was
Yes,
thinking
Robert's
of. So
Rangers.
Maybe
So,
explain what that is.
Yeah, so Robert has always, and this is my fault, been a Power Ranger kid. So
Hell
we're
yeah.
super excited for the new Power Ranger show to come out on
Hell
Netflix here soon. But yeah, so we would always call it, he was fighting the bad guys when he was getting his medicine. And of course, all what he took down there were his Power Ranger toys, and when we had to wear the masks, we told him, you're wearing your Power Ranger ninja mask. And so, because we'd always be watching the Mighty Morphin like movie, that was the one we had to take with us every single time down to St. Jude. We had to take the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger the movie.
Wow.
So yeah, and so like that one's always ingrained in my head. But yeah, so that's Robert's Rangers, and like I all the amazing like donations we've gotten from people, and just even us doing donations for St. Jude has been fantastic, and we've loved every minute that everybody's been able to help out with us. And you know, if anybody's donated to St. Jude, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
takes a village.
It does, and it does mean a lot to all these people, because Robert's made friends. We've made friends with other parents there. I've seen parents. You can tell when it's somebody's first day, because you see them break down, and you see them break down, and you see that moment that they realize my kid's sick.
Yep.
So you go over and you reach out to them,
Oh yeah.
because that's what people did for us when we were there. So I mean, you've never had anybody cry in here, have you?
Well, borderline.
But yeah, no. I mean, so it really is. Everybody is family there. So
yeah.
and everybody's there for the same purpose, and it's fantastic. It really
Well,
is.
it's sorry to bring it up. I think that's a big part of your story, though,
I
because
agree.
it's who you are.
It is.
Because that was 2019,
That was
2020.
2019. So
Yep.
yeah. And Robert, he keeps asking me every day, "Mommy, when are you painting a dinosaur mural for me?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to sell that." I've had a few clients like that. I was like, "Hey, let's do a dinosaur," and they love it. And then something comes up to where it falls through, and I'm like, "Dang it!"
Yeah.
So I'm really trying. I'm trying to get him a
Big dino
dinosaur
guy.
mural.
Big
So
dino guy.
I think the interesting thing
So
about
here's that Wanderers. You got a place to stick a dinosaur mural.
Hell yeah.
sell it.
Hit us up.
actually, yeah, let us know. We can make this business decision on the fly.
That's for sure.
We would
That's right.
help partner with somebody
yeah.
that wants to put a dinosaur
So
up.
for the folks at home that are listening, if somebody wanted a mural, or
Yeah.
if somebody wanted an artwork done, or something, a custom piece, or anything at all, tell them how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, so email for me is the best way. blondebrush27@gmail. But I mean, you can still message me through the Facebook and the Instagram and things like that, but those do tend to get lost because there's just so many notifications that come through on that.
We know about that.
So like it's hard to siphon those versus emails so much easier, and phone calls are easy too. So those are just a lot
We
easier
just
to
go
get
through Arlo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We go
Your
through Arlo.
secretary.
Well, he is not. He's
No.
producer Arlo.
There
He's
you
on,
go.
He's on staff.
producer Arlo.
Yeah, May says I'm on staff.
No, I'm
I'm like,
Yeah, he's on staff.
He's on staff.
There you
Grab me
go.
a beer.
Yeah.
So I think the cool thing we've been working on a shirt,
Yeah.
and I think I need to get back on that. Baseball season is sidetracked, but it's not quite mowing season yet. It's still early. But you have submitted a design for the Mow Responsibly.
I have.
And it is
and
badass.
I think we're gonna get that put on a T-shirt. Would that be
Nice.
your first T-shirt?
No. No,
Well,
I'm
that
sorry,
sucks. You
friends.
could have lied to us.
Well, okay, like
She's an artist. Come
like,
on.
Yeah.
Well,
so
but I mean, like
Like her
business-wise-
face is currently
I
on
bet
the
it's the
shirt.
first podcast out of Holland
Lynn,
T-shirt.
No, so like all in high school, I always did all the designs for high school.
That was pre-blonde brush, though.
Pre-blonde brush. So yeah,
Yeah,
blonde
this is
brush.
a real thing.
No, I have not. So this will
Yeah.
be my first
Awesome.
one.
There
but
we
yeah,
go. See?
I knew I was on
See?
the right route
That's-
on sketching that when Chad walked in behind me because I took my iPad home, and when he immediately busted out laughing, and he was like, "That's looking good." And I go,
Yeah.
"You know, if he's commenting, I'm on the right road."
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Chad couldn't sit here on the couch. We'd be snug as a bug in a
It'd be
row.
rough.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we'd be-
Couch
that
would
poor
definitely
couch.
be screaming for help.
It's screaming already.
Big old boy.
That's
Yeah,
right.
big old boy.
That's
So
cool.
what's the horizon look like for Blonde Brush? Like, what's the hope? We're into 20. Hopefully, we're behind COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing our business, and I say our business. We're
Our
team.
brand.
Well, her brand.
Yeah,
our
her
brand.
brand.
We're all together here
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
That's family.
But we're starting to see it take off.
Yeah.
Like, what does 2023, the rest of 2023 and beyond look like for Blonde
I mean,
Brush?
my biggest goal is to branch outside of Du Bois County. So I'm wanting to.
Hey, us too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm wanting to like
Common
I
goal.
love that this is my starter base and I have great clientele here and things like that. But I'm trying to get down in the Evansville area. I'm trying to even work into Indy, even out of state. So I want to start doing those more travel pieces.
Spreading
to where,
your wings.
Exactly.
And fly.
Exactly.
You know what we can do? We happen to have a guy in Evansville that might have just sat here a couple weeks ago that might have an ability to be on a microphone
I bet
and
he
do
knows
a
some
wonderful
people.
story. Hey,
I got him.
Yeah,
Yep.
we got it.
We'll work on
make
that.
I think
we'll
Chad's
make it-
actually got his phone number too.
Oh, yeah, former
He's the
coach.
reason why we switched to News 14.
Yeah,
That's right.
we will make that connection of, hey, we got a story for you,
There you
because he
go.
obviously passed on Smokers Lounge podcast,
Yeah.
but maybe Blonde Brush is something that
intriguing.
our buddy Mitch Carter
Mitch
could do.
Party.
Especially if I
He'll-
get down to Evansville area, then it's easy access.
That's what we're working on.
Perfect.
Evansville, Owensboro.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
they celebrate the arts in Kentucky?
I don't know. Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually they do.
yeah.
I've been to
they're pretty
Berea.
good. Yeah.
Berea has a
Yeah.
huge art scene. So
I don't
They
know what
do.
happened there because I was.
That is late delay. Do you say Brea or Brescia?
Berea.
That's
Kentucky.
just east of
There's a-
Louisville, isn't it?
No, it's like south of Lexington.
I was like,
Oh,
Lexington
way off.
itself
Yeah,
has a
it's
really
way
off.
great
Samsonite.
art
There's
base
a lot
too.
of art in Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah,
No.
it's all real
James
horses,
Audubon.
but it's fine.
James Audubon, right? Audubon? James Audubon? Wasn't he?
He was
Audubon
the bird
Viper
guy.
sits high in the sky.
No, yeah, Audubon Park. Come on down on the Audubon Parkway. No, he drew birds and stuff.
He was a
I'm gonna go
naturist.
with
Yeah,
yes on
They
that.
have
'cause I'm
horse
having a
statues
brain
in
fart.
Lexington.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of horse statues.
There
in
was
Yeah.
horse statues in our hotel room in Louisville this weekend.
those are
and
done every year. I forget what they call that every year, but those literally get auctioned off like they would real race horses.
Yeah.
One of them went for $21,000.
That's nuts.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
What is something that we could have that's like a horse that we could paint
That's
every
like a
year
horse.
and sell
For
Yeah.
$21,000.
For 21,000. Let's think of that real
I-
quick. What
Maybe
do you got?
miniature ponies for $7.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Did you have an idea,
man.
No, so like I always thought it'd be so cool to have a pair of like extra large, like huge Dutch wooden shoes, like a sculpture to where people could stand inside of them and look like they're wearing a pair of really giant shoes, but they're painted up and all real fun. Like I always thought those would look super cute somewhere in
could do
Holland.
that.
But
That would be
I
awesome.
have no
We could
idea
do
where
that.
you go make those kinds of things or whatever.
No more
There you go,
talk
see?
about that.
Stop. That'll
No
be
more
off air.
talk about
we'll
that.
get that worked out.
Final thoughts.
Oh, are you ready to pull the plug?
I got
He
it.
always
Yeah.
does.
His eyeballs are floating.
Or you
Yeah.
can just call for a pause here.
Well,
I mean,
it's up to you.
Are you done?
I mean, I don't
Liz,
think.
are you done?
Are you done?
Sounds great.
Smoke,
It's
what are
okay.
you?
I'm just along for the ride.
Amen,
we know,
brother.
buddy.
Yeah.
He's pretty quiet on these interview
good.
shows.
It's good.
We,
It's
we
great.
still love
Well,
you,
we
though.
can take a quick pause.
Let's do it. Let's pause then.
We're going to pause.
Okay, so now that Macy's all settled down, settled back
Ooh.
in, ready to go.
Eyes were floating. Yeah.
Where were we?
So I was trying to propose final thoughts, but then
We're not done.
we're not
We're not done.
quite done yet.
Yeah.
So
All right, Geppetto.
we know how to get a hold of you if you want to do a piece,
Yep.
and we know how you quote jobs, and we know which way your canoe's kind of pointed for 2023. If you had a bucket list place that you would like to see a blonde brush masterpiece, where would it be?
New York City.
Damn, Skippy. I figured that.
Yeah.
That's kind
it's
of neat.
like one of my favorite things to go do whenever I go visit my uncle because that's where he lives. And so it's definitely always my favorite to get to see them. There's always new ones and different ones. And yeah, it would be
That's cool.
a high achievement for me. I would be like on cloud 9.
That's cool. Where? So, like, is there a project going on right now that our listeners could drive by and see, kind of like a time lapse photo of one being
Probably wrong
worked
time
on
of
right
year
now?
for that.
Yeah, not quite, because most of them are indoors that I'm doing right now. So, like I said, I'm working on the billboard for Primerica. So that's going to get put in Wits Bottoms here, and hopefully next week, if not the end of this week, we'll see how that pans out here.
Do you have your boat ready?
What?
I said, do you have your boat
My
ready?
boat? Yeah, I know, right? So that's pretty much just waiting for the water to go down. So yeah. But yeah, that one will go up. And then the next one I'm hoping here will be a beauty salon. So we'll see. We haven't signed contracts or anything yet as far as that goes. But I know she was really excited.
Cool.
We finally agreed on how we're going to proceed. So yeah, that one will be a fun one to get
Awesome.
to do. There's one in Evansville that, again, we haven't signed
Come
contracts, but
on,
yeah,
Evansville.
yeah. So it'll be really fun. It's a play cafe.
You figuring
Oh,
gas
yeah.
mileage for that too?
Yeah, that gets all. That's all gonna put in the price. Yeah. It's all in the price
So
tag.
Not that we would probably know who these people are, but who are maybe 2 or 3 in the biz right now where if they walk through the door, you'd be like,
yeah.
oh shit, like,
Kind of like starstruck.
Fangirling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it definitely would be one girl out of Indy. She's her business called Hue Murals. Coda.
Hugh, like Hugh.
HUE.
see, that's
Yeah.
a play. That's
Yeah.
a play on art words there.
So
gotcha.
they just did an article about her in the Indy Star that she is like the number one sought out muralist in Indianapolis, and she just recently opened up a studio in Brooklyn, New York. So
Brooklyn.
yeah,
Oh, that's
so
big time.
Yeah, so she is everywhere right now, and I love her style. It's colorful, it's impactful, it's really cool. But one that's like not even from this area would be a group that's called Pander, Pandr. Phoebe, she does amazing work. It was her and her co-owner Roxy. They did it together, but Roxy had a baby recently, so it's just Phoebe now doing the work separately. So they've done work everywhere across the United States. So that is amazing. They've done work for Reese Witherspoon,
Going through a divorce, by the way, Reese.
Tough spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like,
Hey, how does Reese's eat her Reese's
oh God, in pieces.
with her spoon?
Jesus.
And we're back
Dad
from that
joke.
break.
Dad
That's comedy hour. So you got those two. Anybody else that we could get on the radar and check out?
Yeah, right. Nobody else that I can think of off
So
the top of my head. I
you
mean, those are,
mentioned-
as far as like
Good.
girl power, those are my two girls.
Good.
You mentioned New York and you mentioned Brooklyn. Like, where is the center of the art world in the United States? And I think, and the only reason I preface this question is some of it has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people thought you had to be on one of the coast to get discovered, and I don't
Yeah.
think it's that way as much anymore with social media
Yeah.
and other platforms out there.
No, I mean honestly, for muralists, it's where the sun shines every damn day. So like Florida right now is like absolutely ridiculous,
people
which
and
is great.
muralists.
I mean, and it's okay.
Congratulations,
but
Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Actually,
people
I
and muralists.
applied for one down in Florida. Almost got it. They actually called me back, said, "Hey, we're opening up for another mural. Please apply for this one." So I was like, okay, if you're specifically calling me, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
they're
Yeah.
like, Florida trip? Yes, ma'am. Sign me up.
all paid for.
Right?
That's how you do that.
Exactly. But no, I mean, so I think that's becoming more booming in that the mural aspect. But honestly, all the calls that I've been like seeing on as far as like open calls for artists and muralists, it's been in Colorado. Like,
Oh, wow.
but they want to keep theirs local, which is great. And
But there's a lot of creativity going on out there.
sure.
A lot of weed help you get through that problem.
A lot of envisions there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's not even
Quest.
weed anymore at this point.
Spirit Quest.
They're on that Aaron Rodgers shit.
Let's ride.
But no, I mean, yeah.
That's Russ Wilson. Save Colorado.
Yeah, that's right. That's close. So, is there any? Sometimes
Yeah,
Can't
I
really
love
back
it.
in.
I love seeing your dad
Yeah.
because he's just. If anybody has looked at the record books at Southridge High School in
Oh,
football
a bunch.
Yeah.
and baseball, and I don't know about basketball. Basketball maybe not as much.
Yeah, not as much.
But
yeah.
Joe was on a lot of records out there.
Yeah. No Daddy Joe.
Kind of a
yeah.
big deal.
Definitely
It
so.
kinda is.
Yeah.
Works back there at the contractor's desk at Steinkamp's Home
does.
Center.
Yes, I know. I try to make sure that's the fun part about him working there. I worked there during the summers, and I was able to. I learned how to mix paint. So when I go, I don't even ask for help. I just go like, I'm just gonna help myself mix my own paint. Dad always checking in on me. He's like, you make sure you got it over there. I'm like, yep, I'm good.
That's awesome.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
so it's
Cool.
nice. I get to visit with Dad, and then also just like get to mix paint.
Yeah,
cool.
I love seeing your dad. I always like talking to Joe.
That's
and
right.
Oh yeah,
It's just wild because you're a pretty good athlete back in your day.
I like to think so. Track was definitely my thing
Yeah.
for sure. I tried the basketball and to no avail, so that's okay though. But yeah, definitely track for me was it. I loved it. Was more of a sprinter.
Fast.
Yeah.
Fast
and
as
then-
shit.
Yeah, but one track meet. Old Pappy Giles said, he was like, we need somebody in the 4x4, you're running it. And I'm like, no, I'm not running the 4x4. And he's like, yes you are, here's the baton, to see you later, bye. You're running the first leg too, by the way. And I'm like, god damn it. I'm like,
Yeah.
so walk up to that line, I'm mad as hell, and then gun fires off, I run it, pass off the baton, I go stomping off, take my spikes off, and like and then here comes Pappy Giles comes running over, and he's just like, you know what you just ran? I go, it must have been good. And he goes, you're stuck with us. And we went to state, and so that was
That's
awesome. I was like, and
That's
I ended up
awesome.
loving it, so I was like,
That's
it's okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I was like, so thank you, Pappy.
So now with Chad was
Yeah.
football, wrestling,
wrestling,
and then
track.
he liked throwing heavy shit.
Yeah.
Big time.
What
Still does.
What are the boys gonna do? Like, are they gonna? Are they?
Banned. No, I'm kidding. They'll do what they
Shots
want. They
fired.
will do what they want. No.
Horses?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If Aunt Cassie has her way, it'll be
Yeah.
horses.
Do any of them show the artiste side?
Robert, for sure. Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
He
That
has
goes
his
back to
own
that
drawer
genetic
at the
thing again.
studio
Nice,
that's... I can't throw them away. I really can't. I'm going to have to at some point because there's so full of all his dinosaur drawings, and now it's Pokemon drawings that we're making. But yeah,
Maybe
they
you turn
are-
that giant stack into art one day.
I know. I think I'm just gonna have to, because they make those art books now that you can scan all your kids' artwork and it makes it into a book. And I'm just
Nice.
I'm just
Hey,
gonna have
before
to do
we get
this.
too far away from it, when Casey said something about Chad throwing heavy shit, I just
Yeah.
would like to reiterate one time and one time only that I have beat him in throwing heavy shit. I actually won the
Keg
keg
toss.
toss at the Holland Fest one time.
He cannot clutch that at all.
And
I don't know
he
why.
was
I think
sick
he
that day or
overthinks it.
something. But I beat him and I won it.
I
So
think,
you mean
I
he
think-
didn't
I
show
think he'd
up?
let-
No,
is
he
that-
did. He threw
Oh,
it. He threw it. It just
he
had a
probably
bad
let
throw.
you win.
No,
If I
he
know
didn't.
Chad, he'd let you win.
No way.
No way.
I beat him.
No way.
Fair and square. Yeah.
No,
so.
because you did, and then Tavis came home one weekend.
Ah,
and he beat
yeah.
Chad.
He's a
And then,
freak of
'cause
nature
he's
there.
Olympian.
Do
so.
those two ever like wrestle?
No, because I'm
'Cause I
pretty sure
could
Chad would get
ima-
hurt.
Because I could imagine like Thanksgiving dinner's already set and
Yeah.
Kevin's just sliced the turkey because we support our turkey farmers.
That's right.
And next thing you know, it's like, I'll pin your ass right now. And
Oh,
the other one's
God.
like, you ain't got a chance. And then next thing you know, like, there goes Thanksgiving dinner and it's gone and we're ordering Chinese.
Yeah.
Like, I can envision
Rah,
it
rah,
going
rah,
that
rah,
way.
rah.
No, it would be a
Smiling
daring
at us.
competition.
It's smiling at us. Oh,
No, Cassie and Chad would wrestle first, I believe is how that would go, because they've always been picking on each other.
Unbelievable.
Ever since we started dating, they would always be at each other.
And you
Crack me
guys
up.
were high school sweethearts, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Me
And
too.
that's because
known
that's,
them-
you
hold
over
them
there.
forever.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is exciting. So we kind of give this opportunity here because I think Mitch, he got to ask us some questions.
Yeah.
Is there any questions you got for us?
Oh God, no! You guys just keep doing what you're doing because it's really freaking fun, and
Awesome.
every Friday, and I'm like, it's 9:00. I gotta turn on Dutchman because I'm like, as soon as I get into the studio, that's the emails are done. I'm able to focus on anything else, and I'm just able to listen to you guys.
Mental
It's really
disconnect.
fun.
Has
Heck
there
yeah.
Would love
has there
that.
been a favorite topic that we've covered that you have been like, oh, I want to weigh in? I mean, obviously the digital media art format and kind of
Yeah,
going
that
that
was
route.
fun.
Has there been a subject where you've been like, oh, I wish I just want to love to comment on, but haven't?
I just love that you guys kind of just gratify some of the moments that I'm just kind of like, does this happen to other people? And then you guys are like, oh yeah, it definitely does.
Hell yeah,
It's
it does.
okay, good, it's not just me. But
Yeah.
no,
Oh, yeah.
but like I said, it's really fun to get to have those because I've learned different stories from Chad that you guys have sparked those conversations. I'm kind of like, really? That happened to you? And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just like, oh yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I mean, it's just fun. So to have another spin on it.
We consider ourselves artists too.
There you go.
Yeah.
We are not
creating
freaking artists.
We're creating artists.
We are the furthest thing from artists.
Yeah.
I think
minds.
it would be unique for you to know this, but like our Facebook followers, it's like 51-49 female to male ratio, right? Did I
Nice.
see that?
I haven't checked Facebook.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Like
It's probably
we
close.
started this show and we were like, no woman is ever gonna listen to this.
Oh,
I knew
pish.
Jenna was going to listen.
And then what's that?
I knew Jenna was going to listen.
Yeah, my wife still hasn't.
No, hey, I did get Justine to listen to it on the way home from Louisville the other day.
Oh,
She
yeah.
had
There you
one
go.
earbud in, I had the other, and she actually laughed. So
Oh, that's good.
still probably not going to hook her in, but every now and then
Yeah.
I'll beg
Every
her
once
to,
in a
and
while.
she will. Yeah.
There
But
go.
you know, and it's I think what we've started to discover a little bit, and because you're a public face within the community, like it's weird when people recognize us from something where we have
Yeah.
no
Oh, yeah.
idea,
No clue who
and
they are.
and you start to kind of catch them out of your eye, and they're watching you, and you're like, there's either something going on, or
They're going to say
yeah,
something.
and then they come over hey, you love the show, and it's like, yeah, it's good. They're like, and the question always is Smoker really like that? We're like, yep, he is.
Yeah.
He is. I think would we?
Man, I'd like to meet that smoker
Yeah.
guy.
I'd really like to.
Hell yeah, brother.
You're
Yeah.
right. It's 51-49. We have more female audience than
I
love
really
it.
think it was the Pam and Sarah mix up.
that's what got it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's all part of it. So no questions for us.
I don't think so.
Has this
No.
experience, because we talked a couple weeks when we did the cooler
Yeah.
last week, you said you'd been doing some prep work, trying to get ready. Do you think you were prepared well enough for this?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, you did. You passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you passed.
Good.
So we'll wrap up here with some final thoughts. Arlo, we'll let the lady of the lounge go last, obviously. Did that sound bad?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Arlo, the lady of the lounge. Arlo, final thoughts. Go.
Here in Smoker's Lounge.
What are you laughing at me? I'm clearing my throat for a second.
No.
Sorry. No, I just want to say thank you. Awesome job. It was really cool to work with you on that. And yeah, excited for future opportunities. I'm
Thanks.
sure
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll have other stuff coming down the pipeline. So
Perfect.
that's
Bring 'em on.
excited to it. So yeah, thank
Mace,
you.
what you got?
From a big giant plate of spaghetti on a brick wall to a old fashioned barber pole to
Yeah.
you know, just all the community work and everything like that. Like I really feel that you've got something big going, and like especially like we're for aspiring artists and like just my kids, you know, showing
Yeah.
such an interest going over to the gallery and like wanting to look inside your studio and seeing the possibilities of like I would almost venture to say like a non-traditional career path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
The
it's
non-real
not,
job.
It
It's
is
okay.
not your conventional 9 to 5, and it is totally, you know, thinking outside the box every day and,
Yeah.
and trying to come up with new things and staying in. And I, you know, kudos to you, and I hope it all works out for you. And then I know that it's not going to be easy as your boys get older.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the more active they become, and things are going to differ. But on the same side of that, I feel like that's going to open other doors for you as far as creativity works. And thank you for coming out, and I appreciate your time, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Everything. Known you forever for
Yep.
a long time, and that's what is kind of wild that we've been able to create. I mean, we were the class of 06, you were class of 05, and you were 07? 09. So, like,
You were 09? Really?
is that Corey's? Did you graduate with my brother?
No.
He was a grade above you guys. He was 8. I think he was 8.
Yeah.
He's 2 years after me. But you've not, like, when you know somebody all, like, everybody's lives, and obviously, you know, like, it's just so cool to see, like, what you're doing and what you've created, and, you know, just like the story with Robert, like, that's, you know, that's a very cool, you know, the community behind that, and
Yeah.
you guys, you know, being there, and glad everything's going well, and just like to Mace's point, like, you're inspiring somebody that is going to be a badass woman entrepreneur. And as
Thanks.
the father of, I'm the only, well, you've got little girls.
I've got 2.
You've got 2, but as the father of a little girl, like, I have told my wife, like, I want our daughter to grow up to not be afraid to chase her dreams, to not have fear of what others might think or say, and just go be a badass.
Girl
and
power.
learn how to be independent.
Good.
And not have to rely on somebody. And you're doing all those things. And
I've had to learn it the tough way, but it's okay.
And it's okay. But like being a pioneer in what you're doing and how you're doing it in this county that some could say is 20 years behind modern times
Yeah.
is like pulling teeth, I'm sure. But you're doing it, and you're setting and paving the way for somebody else, some
Yeah.
other little girl
Yeah.
that has a dream and a vision of doing something.
Great.
And so I appreciate
Good.
that.
No, thank you.
I can't say that enough.
That means a lot. It really does. Because, yeah.
Smoke, what you got?
Thanks for coming on. I've not known you for, you know, your whole life.
Richmond
That's okay.
transplant.
It's
like
okay.
these folks.
I think
Well,
we
but
had.
hey,
I think we had a turkey noodle soup
Yeah,
night up
yeah.
at Chucky Poo's, but
Yeah,
that's about
we
it.
should-
Hey, there's the Richmond connection because
That's
her
true.
husband
Went to Earlham.
Earlham
So, yeah.
Hall of Famer.
So,
Yeah, look at there.
Hey, now he's got questions.
Would you ask a few more questions now? We would have covered that earlier.
I've seen all the hippies up there. It's okay.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
got all
shit.
sorts up in our town there. I'll be damned. Huh, no, I didn't know that. Anyway, Thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking with us. That's been real good.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can find somebody with an empty wall somewhere in Dutchman land.
Get a
That'd be
dinosaur.
Cool to
Get that
find somebody
dinosaur
like, hey,
up.
I got
And
the
this
perfect
isn't
place.
like a half-cocked idea. Like, this is legitimate. If somebody comes and says, I've got space for you to put on a dinosaur,
Hit us up.
talk to us. We are going to assist in that. We're going
Love
to
it.
make a young man's dream come
Love it.
true.
That'd be great.
But yeah, I think that's all I got. Hopefully we can find somebody out there with an empty wall. And
Heck yeah.
Hey, what about Pop Pop? Dinosaur would look good on the back wall.
Pretty tied up.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, this is your opportunity.
Me,
Final
I'm
thoughts.
up. Oh man, no! Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been like really fun. Like I said, enjoy listening every week. Yeah, so keep doing what you guys are doing as well too, because it's just really fun to get to listen, and it's a good, like you said, mind break and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, good way to change your tune for the day as well. So, no, thank you guys so much for having me.
plug your
Appreciate it.
stuff. Plug your stuff one more time.
All
How
your
can people-
socials,
Yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah. Blonde Brush, Elizabeth Wertman. Look me up on Instagram, Facebook, blondebrush27. And then email is blondebrush27@gmail.com. You can find all my portfolios and things like that on my website, which is www.blondebrush27.com. Again, try to keep it all repetitive. It's all the
Yeah.
same stuff. So it can't go wrong. But yeah, I'd love to be able to create for you, whether it's in your man cave, baby nurseries, on your business, inside the business, anything and everything.
Anything about your business.
Yeah, about your business is exactly right.
No
yeah,
white, no white walls.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't like no white walls. We're gonna put
Say
some
no
color
white
on it.
walls.
We're gonna make it all. We're make it all
have
colorful.
fun with it.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's
So,
exactly right.
Yeah. No, I love to get to create for people. So getting to create creative creations every day.
Creative. Say that 5 times
There it
fast.
is, guys.
Hey, and with that, this is Blonde Brush and Dutchman out.
Great job.
Awesome.